How my fiance of 2.5 years cheated on me. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
You know, I thought it'd be better a year and 2 months after all of this. But the more facts I find out and the more reassurance I get and the more proof I get that I was right all along, I only get more and more righteous anger and just need to yap about it. So this is my time and this is my space. I'm going to give you the story time on how my fiance of 2.5 years cheated on me.
Let's go, brother.
Here we go. I met my ex-fiance in high school. We were, senior year sweethearts. We went to prom together. Boom, boom, boom. Met her mom, met her dad, met her mom's side of the family, dad's side of the family, went to family outings. Boom, boom, boom. January of 2024, I sit down with her parents and I'm like, I want to propose. I really like this girl. And they're like, oh my God, we love you. You have our blessing. Boom, boom, boom. March of 2024, I pop the question. She says yes. Oh my God. And then August of 2024, calls it off. Cold shoulders me, doesn't want anything to do with me, fell out of love, just thinks that we'd be better as friends, wants to be poly, a whole bunch of excuses.
So this was in college, it sounds like.
All stemming after a trip with her girlfriends to the Thousand Islands.
Ooh.
So while she was at this trip at the Thousand Islands with her girlfriends, she stumbled upon some guys who were fishing, told me all about it, how they were fishing and they were kind of interacting with each other, boom, boom, boom. Didn't think anything of it. I was working 6 days a week in order to make enough money for myself, for her, for us to do stuff together, and I was giving her my 1 day out of the week to interact with her. But she was on vacation.
Wait, what?
Didn't think anything of it. I was working 6 days a week in order to make enough money for myself, for her, for us to do stuff together, and I was giving her my 1 day out of the week to interact with her. But she was on vacation. She was at the Thousand Islands. Whatever. And then after the trip, she tells me about this friend, Steven, or Steph. And I'm going to use his real name because I don't give a Steven.
Right.
Oh, I've known Steven since January of 2024, but you never told me about him. Oh, he's demisexual. I didn't ask. Oh, well, he's going to come over and we're going to...
Hold on. Demisexual. I'm sorry, guys. Chisha, how can you not know what that is? Listen. I'm a good, innocent boy. Right? I'm a good, innocent boy. Don't be mad at me because I read my Bible. Miss Coffee, what's a demisexual? I know it's not good for him.
A demisexual is someone who only feels sexual attraction after forming a strong emotional bond with another person.
Oh, guys, I feel like such an idiot. I heard that word and I thought there was going to be ropes and tying up and, some freaky stuff. Okay, got it. Now I feel like the dirty one.
Oh, he's demisexual. I didn't ask. Oh, well, he's going to come over and we're going to build Legos. You're going to what? So I was like, okay, because I noticed that she's been distant, not answering my calls, being active on Snap, but not texting me. Just a bunch of red flags that I could...
Snap. Come on, man.
Let's see, because I had rose-tinted glasses on. When you have rose-tinted glasses on, you only care about preserving the relationship, especially if you have no self-respect like I did. August comes around. And she's like, I don't think I want to be together anymore. I think I need space. And I respect that. We spend one more day together. We're making out, cuddling. I make her breakfast. I help her clean up her room a bit.
Dog. This man obviously got red pilled. Let's be honest. Let's just call it what it is. He drank a strong cup of coffee there because at least you should, that if a woman tells you that she does not want to be with you, the last thing you should be doing is making out, cuddling, and getting your last cuddles in before you give her to the streets. A quick word about the sponsor of this channel, fathershaverights.com. While having a conversation with one of the expert attorneys in our prenup guide, he made a pretty shocking statement. He said, everyone has a prenup when they get married. He went on to say they're called divorce laws. And if you don't draft your own prenup, the government writes one for you. That means politicians and courts you have never met will decide what happens if your marriage ends. And while every husband, like myself, hopes that our marriage ends till death do us part, the reality is over 50% of marriages today end in divorce. So the real question here is, do you trust strangers to write your prenup, or do you want to write it with the woman you are marrying? If you'd like to take charge and learn how to draft your own prenup, hit the link pinned to the top of the comments section and take the first step in securing your marriage today.
Boom, 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 boom. Say goodbye to the family. Say goodbye to the pets. I'm crying, y'all. I'm so heartbroken. Oh no. It's not supposed to be like this. And then I hear a knock at the door. I go to look at the door. It's Steven holding Legos. There's here when I'm about to leave and my ex is trying to rush me out the door like, oh, you need to go.
I can't believe this story, bro.
To go. This is just a break. I love you.
There's
Please go.
no way.
And doesn't answer my phone for the whole night. Oh.
There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
Oh my God. No. So I'm distraught. And then she starts cold shouldering me even more. Says, don't follow her. Don't text her. She wants absolutely no contact. Boom, 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 boom. I'm so heartbroken and up about all of this that I just shut down. I just respect it. No contact. I'm going to try and do my own thing. Started healing. Started talking to other women.
Right.
Boom, 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 boom. Moved on with my life. My life goes on. I am way more happy than I have ever been. Got more self-love, more self-respect. I actually do stuff that I want to do and I have taken control of my life. I love it.
Good.
It's a good thing that this has happened to me.
Right.
But it's still up.
Right.
And then a little birdie tells me about how Steven started dating less than a month after me broke up. And that same little birdie told me that Steven met each other at the Thousand Islands when fishing. Remember that male group that they met? Steven was there. And that's apparently the first time they ever met. So she lied about knowing this back in January.
That's also the first time he clapped the cheeks. Now, I know you don't want to hear it.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
And these are the exact experiences that help men embrace common sense and ask themselves, why would a married woman, why would a fiancé, or would any woman who's in an exclusive relationship with a self-respecting man who's caffeinated need to take a girl's trip? Why? And of course, there's a nuance here, right? I'm talking about trips. How do you define a girl's trip? Trips to other places, spending the night with a bunch of single chicks. Or married, where they're doing nothing but drinking alcohol, dancing. No, they're not on ski trips. They're not going to a place to visit family and friends. No. They're going to be 304s. Just keep listening.
Not to mention that this little birdie told me how... Run it back! Not to mention this little birdie...
By the way, when he says told me how, and it pauses there, he's referencing his ex. He's saying his ex name. He doesn't want to say her name out loud. I don't get why not, but let's keep listening.
He told me that my ex was texting Steven on Snapchat every day, every aching second. And when they pressed her about it and are like, you have a fiance, does he know this? Oh, well, he's demisexual. Oh, well, he's just a friend. Oh, we're just talking. Oh, we're just talking. Right. Two things. After me and my ex talked to each other after she went to the Thousand Islands and was acting shifty, I took her out for a date. We got our nails done. Matching gel polish.
Oh my goodness, bro. Dog, you have to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me, man. Why are you going out as a man, and getting gel polish nails with your ex? Some things need to be called out and stopped. Sounds a little gay.
She got acrylics, I got gel polish. It's kind of cute. Steven posted something recently. A picture of my ex. Bra and panties on the sink. Holding her phone, showing off her nails. And it's interesting because the nails she had were the same nails that I had, our matching set.
This young man has a lot more pain to experience. This is the beginning of his journey. This is the beginning. Matching set, dog.
I've never seen that picture. Right. Okay. And this is like weeks before we broke up, by the way. This is like middle of July before the beginning of August. Second red flag. I got her engagement ring in March. I asked her for her ring size in February. Nonchalantly, of course, because I didn't want her to know. And all of a sudden, she's not wearing her ring. Oh, well, it's too big, and sometimes it squeezes my finger, so I don't wear it. Fine with me. I'll get you either sized up or I'll get you a new one. In the meantime, Here is a silver chain. Wear your ring around your neck. Oh, okay. Doesn't wear her ring. Not wearing her ring anymore. But you know where she was wearing her ring? Around her neck at the Thousand Islands. Oh my God. You mean to tell me this motherfucker, oh my God, he knew? He knew she was engaged as a grown man? This motherfucker 23, by the way. I'm 21. I was 20 at the time. She was 19. He's like in his early 20s and he's talking to engaged women. Oh, yes. You're talking to.
I hate to say this, but I'm happy this happened to this young man. I am. I'm happy this happened to this young man because maybe he will learn that getting matching sets with your woman is zesty. Maybe he will learn to not repeat this in the future. It doesn't sound like a lot of lessons were learned. Some were learned. Some were definitely learned, but it doesn't sound like a lot. Hey, bro, I'm not trying to talk down on you. I'm just saying I think this was a good thing that happened to you, bro. But the matching set nails, that's got to stop. It's gay. It's gay. It's gay. I'm sorry. And unless if you want to be gay, then that's okay. Be gay. But it's gay. I don't think that's what you're trying to go for. Did he do matching sets? Maybe that turned her off. No excuse there, but you can definitely do things that will dry a woman's cooch up faster than beach at the Thousand Islands. That's all I'm saying.
Engaged women who have their partner's ring around their neck. Please go swimming in cinder block shoes. So here's the kicker. I love karma, and karma loves me.
Uh-oh.
I'm glad that the universe works in this mysterious
She's pregnant?
ways. I accept it. I don't even question it.
Single mom,
if it
I'm
happens
calling
to me,
it.
I most likely deserved it. And this was one of them. My ex really, really likes Steven, to the point that Steven is actively disrespecting her family in front of her in their house, calling her sister slurs, being absolutely disrespectful and inconsiderate of the family members' time, of their outings, of their boundaries. He's a piece of shit. My ex doesn't care, makes excuses for him, to the point, in less than a year of dating, she moves out and moves in with Steven. It really just makes me think.
Where's the
Y'all
karma?
should consider this too. Is the person I'm interacting with really this person, or are they someone else? Because sometimes time and other people will show you who you have around you and who they really are. And it's up to you to take the signs for what they are, understand who they really are, and accept that. Either you want to be with someone who you know is a shit person, or you want better for yourself and you choose to cut people out of your life who only seek to use you, harm you, hurt you, neglect you, manipulate you. You got to make your choice. You got to do what's right for you, baby. And if you think being used up is right for you, bless your heart. You know, I thought it'd be better.
He's still stuck on this chick. He still hasn't let her go. And he needs this. He needs this to happen a couple more times. I'm sorry, man. You might need this a few more times. I'm not wishing pain for you, but you must drink the coffee. I did. We all did. Let's check out a few of these comments. Top comment here says, I did not realize Thousand Island was a real place. Here's somebody else who says, getting cheated on when you're an adult is so embarrassing. Another person who says he's coming over to build Legos, and there he's taken off. He put the photo there. Okay, somebody else who says, I thought Thousand Islands was a sauce. Here's somebody else who says having a snap was definitely a red flag. Right. He's another person who added, you're allowed to be mad and vent. The fact that you haven't said her name or showed a picture of her face just means you still care about her, and that's respectable. But if you ever decide to expose her name or face, someone please comment under this. He did that because I'm nosy as F. That's funny. This person's like, hey, I really respect you for not showing her face, but in case he does, someone please tag me. Here's somebody else who says, glad you found yourself. See here, somebody else here added, 20 and 19 makes more sense. Here's somebody else who says, brother, you really dodged a landmine. Yeah. Listen, men go through this, right? Many men have gone through this before. You come out stronger and you learn to be better, right? You don't blame anyone else. And trust and believe, if he's truly a bum, she has her own lesson coming for her as well.
My ex-fiance cheated on me and had on my back, but I did not find out until after the engagement ended. In September of 2021, I took a month trip to Paris, and the first day I was there, I ran into my ex-fiance. I thought she was the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. But what really fascinated me the most about her was that she asked me, where's I from? I told her Los Angeles, but originally I'm from Cameroon. And she says, oh, I love Cameroon. I've spent a lot of time there. And I'm thinking to myself, what does a girl that looks like you doing in Cameroon? I don't want to meet Cameroonians from Cameroon. So I asked her out for dinner, and she agreed. We went on a dinner date. We had a great time, and we wanted to see each other some more. So a few days later, I took a bouquet of roses to her job, and we literally just sat and talked at her job from like 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. She dropped me off home, and we're still talking until the sun comes up. So we're just like two high schoolers, you know, just having the biggest crush on each other. The week after, I was actually going to Venice, Italy, and I invited her to come, and she agreed. So we go to Venice, and it felt like a honeymoon experience. I mean, it truly felt like we just got married, and this is the honeymoon. So madly in love would be an understatement for how we felt after the Venice trip. So we leave Venice, then we went to Amsterdam, had a good time in Amsterdam. And then the rest of the time, I literally spent every single day with her in Paris until my final day to leave. So once I came back to America, you know, I told her I wanted to see her again very soon. So we agreed that Christmas would be a good time for her to come and she could meet my family. And so I bought tickets for her and also for my dad and grandma to come and, you know, we can all be together. So her friend at the time told us that she needed to get an ESTA, which is a tourist visa for any non-US citizens. And so we said, okay. So she procrastinated with the ESTA, and about a month goes by, I get a call saying, hey, can you please call the office and see, you know, what's the status of the ESTA? And in short, the ESTA was denied. So now that the ESTA is denied, there was now a lot of pressure on me to essentially, you know, travel and do everything I can to make sure that we can see each other, because once the ESTA is denied, you can't come to America at all. There's nothing you can do. Unless you get married to an American citizen and get a green card, you just can't visit the country. So part of me, I knew that I already wanted to spend my life with her, and this situation, to me, it seemed like, well, hey, this is the only one I want to be with, so, you know, why not? Let's just go ahead and get married, and you know, we can do this thing, and so that it wouldn't have to be just me traveling over there, and we can just, you know, spend the rest of our life together. So we started with the alien visa application in December. Now, her birthday was in March of 2022, so I flew to Paris for her birthday. At the time, though, I also knew that I wanted to propose to her. So prior to the trip, I asked her, hey, could you please set up a time for me to meet your dad and mom, because I wanted to get her father's respect to ask for her hand in marriage. So the first time they're in Paris, we're out to eat, and I asked her if she scheduled that time yet with her family, and she says no. And so we kind of get into an argument about it, but essentially one of her family members, you know, attempted. So that just put a ripple into the family, and so it wasn't really a good time for her to really discuss it. But she eventually, you know, gets that time scheduled with her family. So her birthday is the first week I'm there. We have a good time. You know, I come, I shower her with gifts, you know, everything that she likes. Then we go to meet her mother in a certain part of France. She was a lovely lady. I met her grandmother. She was a lovely lady. Then we venture off to Switzerland to meet her father. He was also a very lovely gentleman as well. I asked for his respects, and he gives it to me. So my final day in Paris, I told her to meet me at the Cartier store. And she says, okay. And so she goes to the Cartier store. We walk in. I see the ring that I wanted. I tell her, hey, try that ring on, see if it fits. She tries it on, and the first ring she tries, it fits. So I get on one knee and I propose. She says yes. You know, we're all happy. The Cartier employees are bringing out champagne. It's just a joyous, momentous occasion. So after the engagement, you know, I then fly back to America. And so my birthday was actually in April, and the day of my birthday, you know, we're arguing. And so, you know, next day we're still arguing. And so basically I just tell her, like, hey, you're arguing with me, you didn't even say happy birthday. So she apologized about it, said, oh, you know, I'm so sorry. She got it confused with, so I was born April 11th, but my birthday will be late, so the government changed it to May 21st. So that's just a quick fun fact that anyone who knows me, they kind of know that I acknowledge the April date because that's actually my born date, but a lot of times I just celebrate the May date as well. So the May date comes around, she gives me some flowers. You know, I was happy. I was okay, cool, thank you. But I still wasn't really, satisfied because I'm just like, I've invested so much, I go to her birthday, I get her like some designer shoes and like some other items and things like that. And so I didn't really feel as if I was appreciated to only, receive like flowers for my birthday. Fast forward to the summertime now, my business starting to pick up. I was originally supposed to go there and visit her in July. But as I started getting more clients, I had to push that date back. And so I was communicating with her and letting her know like, hey, I want to be there, but because of business, I got to push this date back. And honestly, at the same time too, I'm not really feeling that appreciating the relationship. So at this point, I'm just not really willing to sacrifice as much as I was before because I just wasn't getting anything back for all that I've given in the relationship at the time. And so this honestly continues to go on from July to about like September, just more and more business comes. But in my mind, I was like, all right, I've spent, a month already there. And then by this point, from September 2021 to 2022, I spent a month and a half in Paris. And so I was hopeful that, because I've already invested so much, she'll be willing to just wait for me and give me a little more time to handle everything so I can get over there. Because at the same time, I needed to be smart with my money management because once we would have finished this fiancé visa, she would have been in America, she would have been able to work for the first year. And so, the financial pressure, especially for Ride, would have been very high for me. And so I wanted just to make sure that I was doing everything possible to manage my finances so that we would also be good once she would move to America. So we're still having, struggles in the relationship, but we're still, just kind of working through it. And around November, something else happens in our family and, we eventually kind of get into another argument about something else. And she says that she's done with me. She, no longer wants to be together. And I said, all right, well, now I really need to get over there because I need to, fix what's going on. I need to salvage the relationship. And so I decided to take a trip there in January. And so before my trip, though, my grandmother, she told me, she said, if you go and something doesn't feel right, just come back. And I was like, all right, Grandma, sure, I'll do that. So I get to France. I was supposed to be there initially for 2 weeks. But within the first day of me getting there, my body was just so weak and I just felt so sick. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I just was physically down. It was so bad that I ended up leaving in 2 days when my initial trip was supposed to be for 2 weeks. And so at this point, we're basically agreeing that the relationship is not looking like it will last, but let's just take at least another week once I get back to decide what we'll do. So I returned back to America and we decided that we'll end the relationship. And so this was a very devastating moment for me. I went through a couple months of depression. I had to step away from my job. It was just moments where I just didn't know I would break down. I would, a lot of times I would be driving and crying and I didn't want to put myself in that position to seem weak to the world. And so I just stepped away from everything. And so now April comes around, we reconnect. I want to say maybe she reached out to me for my birthday. And so we're talking, and around this time she mentioned that she'll be going to Mexico for one of her friends' trips or something like that. And so I was like, oh wow, you're going to Mexico? That's super close to Cali, like I could hop on a flight and I could see you. Let's schedule something and I'll go to Mexico and I'll meet you. But she was like, no, I don't want you to come to Mexico. And I thought it was a little weird, but I was like, no worries. I know it's a lot going on emotionally. And so I'll respect your wishes. And so decided not to go to Mexico. We're still talking to each other throughout the summer. And I was in Lake Havasu at the time, boating with one of my friends. And the very last day of my trip on Lake Havasu, I was at a diner, getting some breakfast, and there was an older gentleman sitting next to me. And he said, hey, young man, would you like to read this paper? The food may take a while. I said, okay. So I read the paper, I'm flipping through the pages. I get to the very last page, and in big, bold red letters, it says, spend the summer with my ex-fiance's name. So I'm thinking this is a sign from God, right? I gotta go save my girl. This must be what the good Lord himself is telling me to go do. So I said, all right, you know what? I want to buy the first flight I can. I'm going to go over there to, visit her. So I was like, even better, I'm going to surprise her about it, And so I remember it was very difficult to get on the phone to just give her this surprise. And then once I was able to get on the phone, she was like, well, I need to talk to you first before you come. There's something I need to tell you. And I was like, sure, that's fine. And so she reveals to me that the reason she couldn't see me in April in Mexico trip was because she had, and because of that, she just, wasn't, up to seeing me at the time. And so I was like, well, I understand, but I'm thinking, well, is it like my baby? And I'm just like, like, well, whose baby is it? Is it mine? And she says, no. I was like, all right, well, who's the guy? And so she mentions that it's a guy that was within her mutual friend group. She's known him for a while, so essentially, yeah, it's the guy that she's known for a while in the mutual friend group. And so I was like, all right, well, you still talking to him? And she says, like, no. And I was like, all right, well, as long as you're not talking to him, I'll come. But if you're still in communication with him, there's no reason for you to come. She's like, okay, yeah, for sure. And, I asked her to, like, essentially kind of remove him off of, like, any social media stuff, because there's just no reason for you to be talking to him when I'm about to, I'm still investing into this relationship. And so she says, yeah, she's done with him. And so I go to Paris. When I'm there, she like booked this really nice boutique hotel with like this spa and stuff. And so we're like having a good time at this hotel and things like that, and just having like this lovely, experience together. But then the next morning, it was just something sitting in my heart and my spirit that something just wasn't right about this guy, because I thought about how could she move on so fast? When for me, when the relationship ended, even for like 2 months, I literally would be like physically sick to think about another woman. I didn't want another woman touching me, being around me. And so I just couldn't imagine that if she truly was in love with me, she would have moved on that fast. And so I recall asking her, I was just like, do you love this guy? And she goes, yes. And I'll be honest, that honestly broke me in the moment. Because I was just like, how is this possible?
Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link into the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.